You can support this show at patreon.com/ASAPodcasting. Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast, where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. And welcome back, Skyrim Addict podcast. It's Michael, joined by usual crew. Colin, before he falls asleep.
Evening, guys.
Victor.
Howdy.
And Ray.
Hello.
We were just going to talk about whatever with Skyrim. Some modding. Yeah. Some of the frustrations I've had with Wheels of Lull.
Yes. I
found a stick.
There you go.
A stick.
I found a stick, yeah.
Nice.
And where was it? In the library for Thunderchild.
Oh.
It's a staff in what do you call it? Hyperotka. Kinds, something like that. But it just looks like a stick, like your branch that you pulled off of the Gildergreen, because it's all like got purple flowers on it. It looks exactly like you just grabbed a branch of the Gildergreen, ripped it off, and that's what it looks like. I can't remember what it does. I think it was a point and heal, but obviously my guy has no follower, so it was pretty useless. But it looked nice.
Oh, well, there you go. It's collectible, right? Is it collectible in? Are you playing Legacy of Dragonborn?
I am, but it's not because whatchamacallit, Thunderchild isn't hooked into
it's
Legacy.
Not connected to. Okay.
I think that if I'm not mistaken, well, maybe I am. Did Ice Cream Assassin provide some sort of, not that you'd want to go to the trouble of doing it, I sure wouldn't, but some sort of interface where you can, write your own compatibility patch for things, so you can.
When I started up a new character this morning. When you're loading in the patch, it says certain ones don't work 100%, and it can't auto detect. So if you want to, and it was going on because it was a foam mod. That's the word I was looking for. And then you get to a certain point, and then it just says like certain things can't be detected, but you can write your own. And I was like, "Yep, skip."
Yeah. It's probably not horribly hard, but it's probably more trouble than most people want to go to. Certainly me, I wouldn't want to. But it'd be kind of fun. There's some things that'd be fun to throw in there.
Yeah, definitely me.
I've been collecting all the mods I want to throw into Legacy of the Dragonborn. I cloned my last Paul Janus Finnegan's mod list and started a new Khajiit character a few days ago to sort of test it out before I throw all the Legacy stuff at it.
Yes,
I may do Bruma with that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's, I assume, connected into Legacy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that I don't know. Colin would know certainly better than I, but I'm not sure how much there is collectible in the Bruma mod. Is there stuff that's displayable and collectible?
I'm not too sure, but there doesn't seem to be a space for it on Legacy. Not in mine, anyway. Actually, I didn't check because I didn't have Broom on that one. I did make another character that was also a Khajiit before I finished up my Nord character. That was the one I was playing with Thunderchild with. And I really wanted to keep on playing it, but it just seemed like, because I had stretched the rules that I had placed upon myself, where this guy couldn't use anything magic, to be able to get through the the Mages Guild. As I say, I managed to do the entire quest without casting a spell. But I also said that he couldn't use scrolls because they just blow up, and he couldn't use staffs because they just blew up. But I had to use staffs in which way? So I got past Feralda with the shouts, and then I got past Tolfdir with the ward spell by going over to Solstein, doing all the Dragonborn quests, and then doing Kolbjorn Barrow, and then getting what's his name, the guy that's digging out Kolbjorn Barrow.
Oh yeah, just an R. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, so he's the guy, the miner, and he's the one who kills all the other miners and stuff like that. Yeah. And then I say, all right, well, same as me, my brother died. You're going to be working for redemption. So every time he takes a follower, they die on him. So my guy was like, right, you're going to die. You can be my Daedric specialist. So because he was every time he talked to him, he's like, oh, Mephala bless you, Mephala cloak you, or Azura bless you, Boethia take your head, and all that sort of stuff. He's always come out with Daedric names every time he sends something. So he says, you can be my Daedric specialist. So I've done a few Daedric quests because the other guy wouldn't do them on his own. And there was a few I could do and a few I'd gotten, because like I went to Azura, and Azura like literally said, oh, you're going to be my champion. He was like, no, I can't do that. Sorry, goodbye, and turned around and walk away. But if you get the guy to go to Periite's Periite, where I can't remember his name is, but you get to the shrine, you can actually click on your follower and tell him to sniff the incense.
Oh wow.
I mean, he says yes, he does it, and there's no animation or that, and then I have to go over and sniff But I'm basically sending him to go over, and he's going to be one talking to Periite, and he's the one who's going to be taking the quest and going through Bathardom's. So I managed to get the shield to be able to get through that part. But the part that was struggle to get through was, when you go to the fucking Mizulft, and you have to put the waystone in, and then you got to cast flame spells and frost spells at it.
Oh yeah,
to turn it around.
Yeah, to tune it. Well, I had fucking frost breath and fire breath, but they were the same as a PC when you're walking. It's either go or stop. I would hit it with the fire one, and it would go all the way to the other end, whether I used the first word or all the words. It wouldn't take, and even I tried to step as far back as I can just to hit it with the tail end, but it just wouldn't go through. So I had to fucking go through I think it was 3 Falmer dungeons to find, because they always have their staffs, don't they?
Yeah.
With the ice spikes. So to get those staffs. And then I had the thing of, because I had to do the same thing to do Shadowdoor's Mage, and you got to cast a spell at the wall, like the sigil, to get into the maze. My thing was that every time he uses his staff, it blows up, so he can only use it just the once. So I had to use it and then drop it on the floor. So
oh man!
I was casting Firebolt and then throwing stick on the floor, and then Frostbite, and then throwing the stick on the floor.
Good lord!
And I finally got through it, but
it's imaginative, though.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to put those kind of restrictions on myself.
That's why I had to keep on stop playing it, because it was just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Because the museum was filling out and it was looking so good, and I was just like, how can I turn my Nord hero Dragonborn and do the Thieves Guild quest? So I was like, no, I'm just gonna stop. Just stop. So that's why I made a new Khajiit this morning.
Yeah, I tried to finish up or go further in Wheels of Law. I got this section called, I got through the Boiler Foundry, which was difficult. And then I had to do it again because I stopped halfway through and got lost. When I went to go start back up, I could not remember where I was or where I had to go. And everything kind of looks the same. It's just all spinning gears and pistons and There's really no.
And you go through one door and come out in another in the same place, but it's just a little bit different,
a little higher or lower. Yeah. So it like all looks the same. You're just going in circles, up and down, up and down. So I had to actually redo it. I started all the way back over prior to that quest part and did the whole foundry again in one run, and got through that, and then figured out how to start the Watchman, which was fun also. Which then the Watchman just wanders around. I assume he's useful.
It's like, okay, great. I went through all that. Now what?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, does he give me a quest? Does he follow me? No, he just wanders around the place. That's it. Just watching. I assume he's useful at like towards the end or something. Maybe there's a battle towards the end, but I don't know.
Yeah, there must be. I don't know, 'cause it's, he's pretty impressive. He's really tall.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, yep. And then I did the part where you go to the Thalmor place up in the mountains or something. You have to wear the Thalmor clothes and all that. I have invisibility and all that on this character, so I was through there. That was all pretty easy. And then came the Brass Forest. So it's like another area, and you going through, and then you have to start climbing up like these tree branches. And then there's the brass pipes that you would find in a Dwemer ruin, and you're trying to walk across those that are connected to like branches. But like there's these weird glitches where you end up like walking through the branch and then falling anyway, even if you're on it. And it is so insanely frustrating. Like after 20 minutes, I was like, I'm done. Like, that's it. Like, that's the end. I've had enough. Wow. I've tried this like 5 different times. And like you're sneaking across the pipes. But even so, like if you just miss a little bit and then you're on the side of the pipe, but it won't let you jump to get on top of it.
Yeah.
So you're just going to fall off anyway. And then it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm done with wheels. It's great.
On PC, you just go to the console and type TCL and move on with it.
Yep. Yeah, it was like, it was very frustrating. But like it's, it's challenging. If you're into like a real good challenge, this mod is definitely that. But I needed a break. So to get set up for Bruma, I deleted all those, deleted the mods off of it, and all the saves that were modded off of that character. And because I'm also a vampire currently, so I want to get past that point in the vanilla story of that character, so that I'm no longer a vampire and no longer have Serana. So I just have to finish up the Dawn Guard. I'm actually about to go into Forgotten Vale, so that's a pretty fun crawl anyway to get Ariel's bow. That's a fun part of that quest line anyway. So I haven't done it in a long time, so I'm looking forward to that. So the character I'm using for the modding stuff now is the one that I was doing everything with, like literally everything to get every achievement with. So I think I had already maxed out vampirism, so I don't have to do that anymore. I can just play through it, but I'm playing as a vampire. So then I got to wait till I finish that quest and then go to what's his name over in Markarth or whatever and get cured of vampirism. Is it Markarth? What is that?
Yeah, Thalion and Morthal.
Morthal, not Markarth. Why did I say Markarth? Yeah, Morthal in the swamp. There he is.
Well, Markarth's a lot better than Morthal.
Yeah, exactly.
When Morthal comes up, you think, "Oh, let's go to Markarth."
Yeah. Yeah, so I got to go over there and get that. Once I get done, with the whole Harkin thing and all that, I'll head over there and get that, and then that character will be ready to go for Bruma. And we'll never step foot in Wheels of Lull again. And it was fun, but I don't know, that the Brass Forest was so frustrating.
Yeah, and you can appreciate what the mod author was trying to do.
Yeah.
But it was just not quite there. I mean, it was, it would have been great if everything had worked smoothly.
Yeah,
and there weren't all those glitchy spots that you ended up, getting stuck in.
Very good.
I was just gonna, they certainly, their heart was in the right place as far as making it, challenging and different. and everything. So, but
I was going to say, Skyrim doesn't look. It's not the game that's got enough functionality or enough player control to be able to handle some of the things that we're trying to do from the sounds of it.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
particularly the parkour stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
it just is not there.
yeah.
Even with good, and I use a fair amount of, jump assist. I have a jump assist mod and a couple of other things that help with some of that. You jump a little higher. You can actually, even without those, you can set if you use Bethany or a bashed patch, and you can change it in Rybash, the jump height. There's several ways of at least changing your jump height, even without a mod. Better jumping is really good though. It's been around forever. It's on both Legacy and SE. So
I also did see, I was on E9's page the other week, and I did see he did a mod called the Super Save Dwarven Rocket Boots. That's the actual name of the mod.
I've never seen that. That's cool.
Dwarven Rocket Boots. Yep. Nope.
Why not? Just try them once. Goes with your Dwemer Scout goggles and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a mod a long time ago that was an exoskeleton, a Dwemer exoskeleton. It was really cool. It's really buggy, but it was really good. Yeah, made you run fast, jump high.
I guess they could probably do one based off of power armor, right?
Yeah, that's essentially what it was.
What it was,
basically Dwemer power armor. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I get right. How far did you get far past the Brass Forest, or is that where you conked out?
I didn't get through it.
Oh yeah, okay. So we
same place.
Gave up in the same place.
Nope.
Yeah, it was just it got to be too much. It was just like it became tough, not because of the mod, but because of the issues within trying to get through that portion of it. You know, where you couldn't stay on things quite cleanly or whatever. Like if Skyrim had the functionality of like Minecraft, where you sneak and don't fall off stuff, like then it would have made sense. Because I went into sneak to do the stuff, but it still wasn't. There was just no way to stay on rounded pipes and tree branches flowing into pipes and all that kind of stuff. So
there must be some deep functionality issue, because essentially what it is, if you're even slightly in motion, you can't jump, right? So if only the engine would allow your character to stick wherever it lands, you'd be able to jump up and down. So, and somebody hasn't created even better jumping doesn't overcome that issue. If you're slipping down a hill, you still can't jump. When you can jump higher, you can double jump, and you can do other things, but
not when you're slipping.
Not when you're slipping. Yeah. So, or like Colin described, when you're stuck on the edge of something like that, and you can't just get over that last lip. It's like tripping over a rug in your house or something. Which I do all the time, by the way, but, probably for different reasons. So,
yeah, as I'm running along the side of the pipe, I'm like, even if I get all the way to the end of this, I'm not going to be able to jump up and get off of it anyway. I'm just going to fall to my death when I get to the other side of it. So I'm like, it's like, there's no point. What am I doing here? Yeah. Oh, God.
Left like 25 saves behind you, right? Because you're trying to move on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were just
quick save.
Every single thing you accomplished, everything you get past, quick save.
Yeah.
3 more steps, quick save.
Yeah.
And of course, quick saves and auto saves are particularly volatile.
Buggy,
crash, right? So yeah.
Well, I did get like all the way up and into that separate area out of the forest, but then I needed a key that was back in the forest.
Shoot.
Oh my God!
So there was an area that like split left and right, and I went, I think, left first, and I should have went right first and gotten the key, and then went back. And I tried to do it, and then I was like, I can't. It took enough to get up here. I just don't have the drive to continually fall off of this.
It's really too bad.
Yeah, it is. It's like a great looking mod. There's some really interesting enemies. Like they reskinned the Charis with human bones in the forest. So it's built with like a human skeleton, but in weird ways. Like there's a couple rib cages and like heads and stuff in weird spots.
Oh wow!
So it fits the like I assume the Charis mold, and then is basically skinned in different skeleton parts. So that was pretty interesting. I did like that. That was pretty cool enemy. It is an inventive enemy that you would be familiar with anyway. So
I wonder if that's one of Mihail. Mihail has done some amazing work like that with reskinning existing meshes and skeletons and stuff, and creating all these incredibly intricate creatures.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and like Ray was saying last time, I went through that Thalmor dungeon thing, and there was like a thing with a giant head stretched out like this, but it was like I forget what it was. It's been a while since I was in there. And it was all kinds of weird stuff, and it was very strange.
Like S-curve bodies.
Yeah.
No heads at all.
Yes. Yeah, there was a couple with no heads. Yeah. But I was able to get through there pretty quickly because I had invisibility and super high sneak levels, so it wasn't like that big a deal. But yeah, there were some very bizarre enemies in there. For sure. Inventive ones, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of sneak, I Major Slack has started a new character now, what he calls a pure Khajiit, which is so no armor, no magic. Have you started watching it, Ray?
Yeah,
I can't remember what some of the other stuff is.
So it's anything that a Khajiit doesn't, get any bonus, skill points in.
Yeah.
So the only weapons you can use are bows and one-handed, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No armor, no light or heavy armor.
Yep. No smithing.
No smithing, no enchanting.
Yeah. He has a couple of exceptions to that. I don't remember what they were. I remember him talking about them, but so I thought I'd go back to a Khajiit, sort of inspired by that, but not as restrictive as that. So I started my old Herald body back into a new character using Live Another Life, and decided to just wait and see where he came out with the my usual beat up and Left 4 Dead. And he popped up in Winterhold, so I made him a mage, which worked out because I have whenever I play mage, I almost always put armor on anyway. So this time I decided, well, finally I'm going to do one without armor, but with robes. So he's not going to be able to enchant anything or smith anything, but he'll use whatever he can pick up.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been fun. He's up to level 14 now, and he's doing illusion and one-handed and a bow. And I've never actually tried to level up a character without any armor at all. And also, he's a worship. I'm using Winter Sun, so he's worshiping Riddletar, and which doesn't give you a whole lot at first, but it's got a couple of decent buffs once you reach devotee status. And you have to pray at night and so on. And he, I think Riddletar, if you have to level evenly. He wants you to be proficient in all things.
See, I've made my character the same way. He's Khajiit male. He following Riddletar.
Cool.
But he's following the teachings of Riddletar, where, as you said, he has to master everything. So he is mastering everything. So it's one in each. So you just put one in magic health, stamina, and then one magic health. And you just keep on going like that as you're leveling up.
Yeah, zigzagging back and forth on the.
Yeah. And he uses archery, conjuration, alteration, restoration, one-handed, light armor.
Wow.
Lockpick. I took two perks in lockpick. Just because there's this one at 90 on Valkyrie, because I didn't go with Ordinate, I just went with Valkyrie. And I also took Apocalypse spells out, so I've got no extra spells. Because he always, the last guy, the reason why it was fun role playing. My Nord, I can't remember, is the Mad Dog. It's fun role playing them, but the only problem, there was no challenge anymore because with all the mods like Thunderchild, Ordinator, and with Legacy of the Dragonborn, they all help. They cool down your shouts and make your shouts more powerful. So he was just too strong. He was even dragons, like 4 or 5 hits with his battle axe, and they were already dead. And they were like epic dragons and stuff like that, ancient dragons. So
Wow.
It was just I couldn't play. I leveled up. Got to 100 in one-handed because they give you this really cool sword in Legacy of the Dragonborn, and I leveled that up to 100, and then went legendary on it. And when I finished my character, it was like 89 or something like that on one-handed, because I put no perk points into it, and even still, because of all the shouts, because he was using Elemental Fury, where the sword goes faster, and it was that much more powerful because of all the buffs he had to all his shouts. Like the Kinnereth one is 200% more powerful, and then the perks from Ordinator, and then the cooldown was ridiculous because he had the Talos necklace on, he had the Blessing of Talos on, so and it was just like his cooldown for some of the stuff was like 3 seconds, and that's like the full shout. So and then he'd have perks that would just cancel them out immediately, so I could immediately shout afterwards.
Oh wow!
So I was like,
yeah, that's a good perk. That the one where you enter battle and your first shout has no cooldown at all, so you actually do 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect for my guy because he wasn't using magic, so his magic was his shouts, and that's all he could use. That's all he asked for. But it just ended up being a bit too powerful, so I wasn't getting enough of a challenge. So the new guy, I've loaded up with Valkyrie, taken out Apocalypse because those spells I find a bit overpowered, and I've put in Revenge of the Enemies. So all the enemies, all the Draugr and that are a little bit tougher.
Yeah, I like Revenge of the Enemies. I'm using Ultimate Combat on this guy. I'm not taking it quite so seriously. I'm leveling up the 3, Magicka, Health, and Stamina evenly, but I'm not worrying about becoming proficient in everything. Just something in each of the 3 disciplines at least. But he's mostly illusion and sneak, and that's of course what Major Slack is sort of majoring in in the early episodes. He's talking about leveling up sneak. So I'm level 14, but I've already got him up to like level 70 in sneak, and I'm using Adamant, not Valkyrie. I like Adamant a lot. I'm really enjoying the perks, and I've taken most of I think I'm almost all the way up the sneak tree in Adamant now. He's pretty powerful. And I'm using Apocalypse and something else. I think I'm looking at my
Mysticism.
Yes, that's the one. Thank you. I think I have Mysticism loaded. Yes, I do. It's right there. Mysticism and Apocalypse. But right now I'm mostly using Ghost Walk. I'm having a lot of fun with Ghost Walk.
Yeah, I like that one. It's fun.
Yeah. We just did Anselvund, which is one of my favorite dungeons, and that was a lot of fun. And we did Mistwatch too.
Oh yeah,
Mistwatch is good for that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a good build. I'm having fun with it. But so I wanted to ask all you guys, because we never really have sort of taken a subject like this and talked it out. What do you guys do, each one of you, to level, right? I mean, I know I just sort of try to level naturally. I just sort of let things happen as they go, and I don't really. Do you guys do any like specific leveling when you're trying to build a character like that?
I think for me, it depends on what I'm doing. The one I had originally built for the modding roundtable, where I wanted it pretty even, like low, like I think it was around level 15 or so. The last one I used, but I tried to keep everything pretty even so that whatever I ended up doing in the mod, it wasn't really affected by how I had built it. But generally, if I'm playing, the most of my early leveling probably comes from smithing, enchanting, alchemy, just naturally. Because I like actually doing the alchemy, and I like every single time I eat the ingredients to learn the things. I do it like I've done it the first time, like not based off the knowledge I have. I try and let the character learn it. Like whatever it is, whether it's the wildflowers or whatever, I'll just eat them and learn them as I go. And and then experiment obviously on the alchemy table where you mix ingredients, and if it makes something, it makes something. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Do you do the just 3 random ingredient thing? And just zap and let things build out. Yeah, it's a fast way to gain a lot of knowledge. Yeah, and
I try and do it because obviously a lot of what the ingredients are at this point.
Yeah,
whatever, thousands of hours in. So I just kind of leave that knowledge behind and just do it as if I was doing it the first time, And
can you control yourself and not make a bunch of salmon roe garlic and Nordic barnacle potions?
Actually, I'm pretty good at not doing that.
Yeah,
because I just go through it so fast that I just whatever's on the top of the list, whatever's highlighted, I'll add it to it, see what happens. Add it to it, see what happens. And just kind of go down that way.
And once I learned the trick of using fire to kill the salmon, I banned myself from making that potion.
It does become kind of trivial at that point.
Yeah, and then it gets because then it's worth so much. You're just like boom, your levels are going like crazy. Yeah, and same thing with enchanting and smithing. I use jewelry a lot to do both of those. So I try and get the transmute spell. I mean, I use obviously foreknowledge for that to go to Halt Extreme, get the transmute, and then get a bunch of iron ore, and then just keep transmuting it. So then I'm leveling alteration, enchanting, and smithing, because the smithing goes up pretty quick with jewelry. And then obviously enchanting, you're enchanting the jewelry. It doesn't weigh a lot. You can sell it. You make money. So that's always been my go-to. If I'm really playing a character that's going to be a full-time character, I'll level that way,
Yeah, it's funny. I always thought that the only place there was transmute was in Halted Stream, but I just found a transmute book in Anselvund.
Oh, really?
Yep. And also, I don't know if it's mod related, but Farengar was selling a bound bow book. Anyway, sorry, Ray.
Huh. Yeah. That's a lot easier than trying to sneak into
Fort Amol. Yeah, in fact, I had to run away from Fort Amol. Those fire mages are pretty nasty, especially without any armor.
Yeah.
Or invisibility potions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even with Ghost Walk, I mean, sneak up behind the guy and give him a good whack with something well leveled, and it only takes him down a quarter health, and then he finds you immediately.
Right.
It's dead.
Because you can't go very far.
Yeah. So what else what other people do for leveling?
Yeah, so for me it depends on which direction I'm taking it. So when I did my my pacifist magic character, I used Akado's Recital. And then put in an illusion with muffle, an alteration with oak flesh, and then a restoration with fast healing. And then that way those would just kind of happen naturally as I was progressing through space, encountering enemies and getting things to level up that way in Magic. With my current character that I started for Bruma, I use the alchemy, smithing, and enchantment.
Yeah. Do you deliberately level? I mean, or do you just sort of do it when it makes sense to do it?
Well, I mean, it kind of happens based on, it takes some time to gather the ingredients. It takes some time to get the ores. It then, craft the items and, buy up all of the soul gems.
Yeah.
And, so all that kind of stuff, I get, some speech leveling from that. And, it's just, it's a very deliberate process, but it's also, somewhat natural because you've got to be out in the world collecting stuff,
right?
To be able to make that all happen.
Do you like obsessively min max like Major Slack does? Like you got to go get the well rested bonus immediately.
I would be drummed out of the Slack force because I am not that diligent. I don't change the standing stone every time I do something different. I don't get the well rested bonus.
Yeah, he travels everywhere just to pick up all those little things, and then goes. But yeah, it's like to me that takes me right out of the game. But it's cool to watch. Yeah, that's why I got to think about this. Yeah.
And it's interesting. I do elements of what he does. Like in this case, this character is all light armor, and so my progress up the smithing tree was on the light armor side, but I did take a perk in Dwemer armor or Dwemer smithing because you can gather up a bunch of Dwemer metal and and get good quick leveling off of making dwarven bows.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was something that I had picked up directly from Major Slack. And so that's how I rose in smithing, but all everything I did was to get to the highest light armor smithing.
What about you, Colin?
Leveling, it depends on. I don't level up like do something to level up. I do something to obviously practice it, and then if I'm searching out for a perk. So as Ray said, you obviously with especially with alchemy, you got to go out and collect all the stuff, which I hate doing. So nearly all of my characters hardly ever do alchemy.
Yeah.
Obviously, this new guy's going to be doing it. But one fun thing I did do with Mad Dog was with his alchemy, right? So Mad Dog was not an idiot, right? But he's one of these people, right, who, everybody's met them, is that if they haven't got the book right in front of them telling them exactly how to do something, they don't know how to do it. Right? So the only way he could make potions was buying the book or the recipe. From the thing. So he had to have the paralysis recipe, and
those are expensive.
Yeah, so he'd go in, buy the recipe, and then he'd keep the recipe on him, so he could only make like paralysis, and then the other ones weren't any like worthwhile because he could make health potions that only give him like 25 health or something at a time, and he had like by the end he had like 520 health, so they were useless. He had about like 50 ultimate health potions on him, but that didn't matter. But yeah, that's but with leveling, I used to use when on the other characters it was like maxing out. I would start early off with the the jewelry. I didn't do the the equilibrium spell, the other one, the transmute spell. I didn't do that, but I did use to make jewelry, and then I would transfer over to making the dwarven bows once you got up to 30. And then if you do the that quest for Fathoms over in Riften, that means smithing, and I think you learn it 15% or 20. I think it's 15% faster, and it gives you 25% bonus in all dwarven armor. Dwarven heavy armor has 25% bonus, which turns out makes it the best armor in the game.
Mm-hmm.
it really annoyed me because I wanted to swap over into Ebony and then swap over into
Daedric.
I skipped Daedric because he was a bit of a fraidy cat. But he did get the Dragonbone. But even his Dragonbone wasn't as good. His Dragonbone weapons were better than Dwarven weapons because it's only the armor that gets the bonus. But yeah, his Dwarven armor was always much better than every other armor, so he didn't take that off for the entire game.
I forget what's the armor cap? 500 something.
Yeah. So I mean,
580 with a shield, 560 without.
Yeah. So you can get that on.
Yeah.
Can you get it on any armor with the right buffs, or?
Yeah, you can get it on like leather armor with doing the alchemy and all the enchantments and stuff like that.
True,
But what I was going to say, I had a perk in the heavy armor tree. It's right at the top. I think it's like 90 in heavy armor. That says you are 0.02%. You gain 0.2% resistance to fire, frost, and shock per point of armor.
Wow.
So the higher my armor was, so I had like an armor of like 780 or 800 or something like that. So the higher my heavy armor was, the more magic resistance I have. And in the end, he didn't need any enchanted items. He had a pair of his pair of boots, like dwarven boots, were shock resistant. But even when he was like facing off against dragons with fire breath and stuff like that, he didn't have any resist fire on him, and he was still holding up to that pretty easily.
And that goes off the raw number, not the cap number.
Yeah,
the raw.
Probably. I didn't check.
But there's a limit to magic resistance too. I think it's 85%.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, you can't have 100%, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how much 0.2 times 700 would have worked out at.
Yeah.
So I didn't
on mine. I have a pair of boots. Yeah.
I just did it on the calculator.
So I've got a pair of boots for frost, a pair of boots for fire, and a pair of boots for shock.
Oh, so you
you
have the presence of mind to change your shoes? Wow.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, this is what I used to get. I used to get loads of shade, right? I said once that I carried like a necklace of was like resist fire, and then I had a shield that was resist magic, and then I would swap my necklace over, and I used to get loads of fucking shade for that.
For me.
And then I went and played fucking Fallout 76. And not only do you change all your fucking gear every 10 minutes, you change all your perk cards, everything. You walk into a room, you search around, now I've got to swap over that perk card to be able to unlock this. And then you have to go back out and then swap your perk cards over to be able to open the door. Like, fuck this. I used to get shade for swapping over a fucking ring and a necklace.
Oh, God.
Not that you're better.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I
more of a lager.
I'm making my character's an Imperial, and he's a Ranger. So he's a combat archer.
Oh, nice.
And so So I'm running a couple of different mods than I usually do. So I've got I'm using NI Science minimalistic mods.
Oh, like Growl and
no. So I've got Morningstar, which is a minimalistic race.
I'm running that.
And Valkyrie, which is the minimalistic perks. And then Trua, which is minimalistic faiths.
Yeah, he dropped that one, didn't he? I think he stopped developing on it, but it's still there. And,
it still
works well.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. So it only works as long as a blessing works. So you get a blessing at a shrine, so you get that blessing. Plus, you get some benefit from praying to that deity. It's not as, you don't have to keep praying to. It's very passive. It's not active. So you don't improve your relationship with the deity by praying to him. You get an additional bonus. Like I used Zenithar when I was working on smithing and alchemy, because when you pray, it highlights flowers and ore veins. So you go into a space, you pray, and you can see all around you what where the location of all the items are, and then you get up and go and pick all the flowers and mine all the veins. But it only lasts for 2 hours, and then you either have to renew it or go to a different one. And then I'm using Andromeda stones.
Yeah, I think I dropped Andromeda. I kind of decided I liked the original stones.
Mm.
That's the only one of his mods that never really clicked with me.
Mm. Yeah, I like the Leverstone early on, because you get a do-over.
Yeah.
Every 15 minutes, you can die. That helped me a lot going through, all those gears and pistons.
Yeah.
I got the Loverstone because he has the second bit of that, and that's why I gave up on it. Was the it gives you a gift of like an enchanted item, and I was like,
every 5 minutes you're over encumbered.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Oh, I read it and obviously didn't read it. I read it and then didn't read it, as you know. And I was like, oh, once a day you get like a magic thing. No, it's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour go by. You've got like 8 fucking new things on you. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Well, my favorite stone is the Shadow Stone up by Riften. Sneaks better and you do more sneak attack damage. But my new guy, although he does sneak nearly everywhere, he's putting no perks into it. I've got in Vokri, it says right the very first perk in all the magic one is conjuration is like 0.1% cheaper per level in like conjuration. So he's got the first perk in destruction, conjuration, illusion, and alteration, and then he's got, as I said, a couple of perks in lockpick. Because was it lockpick 90? I think it is. There's one called archaeologist, which is going to sit in well with the the Legacy of the Dragonborn thing. But that's when you open the chest. You get between, I think it said between 5 and 7 items or pieces of armor.
Oh, wow.
I was like, really? Every time you open a chest, it's like, because it already starts off with I get an extra 10 gold when I'm opening any container, and an extra 100 gold in the chests inside dungeons. And then you go one further than that, and then right at the end, 90 is, I think it's 5 to 7 weapons or extra pieces of armor in like the boss chest in the dungeon.
Yeah, 6 additional pieces, 6 additional weapons or armor pieces.
That's what I said, 5 to 7.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, one thing I do to level it, because Mad Dog didn't do a lot. What he did do to level was going legendary. As I said, went legendary on one-handed and went legendary on lockpicking. So he could continue to level up and I could get more perks. But obviously I didn't put them into one-handed or lockpicking. So that's another leveling thing that I do.
That's a good leveling thing, though.
I was thinking about going legendary on enchanting, but I already have like 8 extra perks
Oh.
Because this character is, it's archery and light armor.
Oh yeah.
Are the only constants. So
you're not using a lot of them in a lot of different things.
Yeah, I mean, there's, I'm not doing anything with sneak, nothing with lockpick, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, like the one I'm running right now, the one that I just cleared the modded one off. It's the one I'm literally trying to do everything with. So I also want to try and fill in every single vanilla perk with it. That's like the end goal of it. So I haven't gone legendary on anything yet, but I'll definitely be going legendary on, smithing, enchanting, alchemy, because they're easy to grind back up. And I have like stored away, I don't even know how many soul gems in a cabinet, and possibly 10 million pounds of ingredients in a cabinet. like I don't even know. So much stuff like stored away. And I built all my armor for whatever, like if I have to, when I'm going to start doing one-handed, I have all the armor set up for that. When I'm going to do heavy armor, I have all the armor set up for that and enchant it already ahead of time. So that way I can go legendary on that stuff and, do smithing all over again and just sell the stuff, smith, enchant, all that, start all that back over. So with that specific character, I'm doing it that way. But like in general, I don't really go legendary much because like sometimes I'll do it in, the only two I'll really do it in is enchanting and alchemy. Just because once you get to that level anyway, I don't really need to make any more potions or enchant any more stuff because I'm probably already high level enough where it doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah.
Like in the vanilla game anyway, or even with Ordinator, really. You get to a certain point and it's like, the potions, unless you're running with like 90 health, like some characters may do, then the health potions.
Oddly enough, this one is not doing that.
I can't imagine why.
So he has 90 in magic.
Oh, there you go. Not casting a lot of spells, I guess.
Not casting a single one.
So is this another a random spell or a character generator, or did you make this one on your own?
No, I just decided that I wanted to do a combat archer.
Yeah.
And so, just kind of went from there.
All right, I've got another question. I wrote down a few, but so, and this is mostly for PC. In fact, it's 100% for PC people, and all of us play on PC at one time or another anyway. So switching, if you're dual-handed, switching back and forth, especially if you have a multi-button mouse. This is, I guess, for PC players who have multi-button mice. How do you keep the stupid 2 daggers from going away? In other words, when you go to a bow and then you go back, your left hand has something else in it. Or if you switch to a spell and try to switch back to having the 2 daggers again, it actually, for me anyway, I'm constantly screwing it up. And I ended up with 2 spells instead of 2 daggers, and then it unfavorites one of them. It's like, it's driving me crazy. So is it just me? Is it a mod I have that's interfering with something, or I've never bothered to really to really try to do a dual wielding character seriously before, and it was driving me nuts.
The way
I'm sorry. Let me finish my thought. Maybe so. What I've ended up doing is I just keep when you hit the same button, it'll go back to your previously held weapons, right? So if you had two daggers, I hit the bow button and it goes back to the daggers. I hit it again, it goes back to the bow, and keeps flipping back and forth between them. That works. But if I have a 7-button mouse. If I try to set 2 daggers on, say, button 1 and the bow on button 3, when I go to 1, it might draw both daggers. It might not. If I, it drives me crazy. I tried, having 2 different daggers, and I have one of those daggers on button 1 and one of them on button 2. That didn't work either. I kept unfavored. Anyway, Colin, sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought. That's
no. That last thing you said is the thing that I do. Is
okay.
have 2 different daggers, and that always works for me. So.
Oh, does it? Okay. I kept getting it. I'd go back to Sky UI and it would have unfavorited one of them.
Huh.
It's very, very weird. Maybe it is something.
I mean, if they're 2 iron daggers, then you just named them differently. Then I'll get confused. But I would I'd have a glass dagger and an ebony dagger, or I'd have an orcish dagger and a steel dagger.
And you bind them to one button, or bind them each to its own button?
To its own button. Each dagger to its own button.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to keep beating my head against it.
Yeah. Usually the only.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say. Usually it'll only unfavorite if they're 2 of the same
with the same exact name, right?
Yeah. If you have 2 steel daggers, and they're both favorited, it'll unfavorite one of the steel daggers.
That's probably so. I need to. Well, I can't smith with this character, but so I need to find. Well, I tried it with 2 different. Like I had a elven dagger and a steel dagger, but it still seemed to.
And it unfavorited one of them.
You know what? I just tried that last night or this morning or something, and I don't remember if it unfavorited or it just didn't seem to reload them or what's the word? Whatever the word is. Put things in your hand.
Yeah, the issue you could have is that because obviously if you're pressing the button, right, because it's going to go straight to the right hand, isn't it? If you press it a favorite.
Yeah, unless it's a spell. The spells, if you have something in your right hand, the spell will automatically go to your left, right?
Yeah. It's. I mean, usually you'll get. So if you have one weapon that you usually keep in your right and one in the left, when you select the one in the right, the one in the left will usually come back with it.
Yes.
But if you then try to put something else in your left and then go back the next time, it won't.
That's right.
Because it remembers the last pairing you had.
Right. And that's when I found that it would unfavorite the one that used to be there, and then you'd have to go back and it just, So I tried grouping them in Sky UI as well, and that gets too complex, and I didn't bother with it.
Yeah.
But it is frustrating. I wish there was some way of making it easier. But
use a battle axe.
Solved.
None of dual wielding for dweebs. Big axe. Yeah.
It's dual wield. Yeah, you've got a stick at one end, you've got a blade at the other. That's dual wield.
Exactly.
So, by the way, I'm going to just segue into mods because you mentioned battle axes. Have we all played God of War?
Yes.
The most recent one, the Viking one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
Oh, okay. Colin, I forget. You don't have a PS4, do you? Or do you?
No.
Or did God of War come on Xbox? Anyway, so somebody just loaded the God of War Leviathan Axe.
Oh wow!
A new mod, and it's really, really good. It's
nice.
It has all the pommels, different pommels you can craft. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful mod. Really, really nicely done. So look for that. It might pop up on Xbox too. I don't know.
Yeah, it might, because it's just a weapon. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. I don't think it works exactly the way the War Axe does, where you throw it and it comes back, but it's still it's a very, very cool looking mod. And if anybody's played with the mod Immersive College of Winterfold, how many of us have used that?
I don't know whether
there's obscures and there's immersive. There's the two sort of competing.
Yeah, immersive is the one that I usually do when I do one.
Yeah, you've used obscures, Colin, right?
Is it mystical?
Oh, is another one. Okay, okay. That's on
I can only have a
Xbox.
look
That's
at
right.
my
That one's on
models.
Xbox. Neither of them are on Xbox. That's right. I think immersive. And anyway, the only reason I ask is because the guy who did Immersive College of Winterhold has now released Immersive Fort Dawnguard,
Oh,
and it's really, really good looking as well. So, and it's already had one update. So I have that loaded. I haven't gone there with this character yet, but I have that loaded up. It continues to amaze me how many great mods are continuing to crop up. Beautiful texture mods and all kinds of wonderful new things like the immersive Fort Dawnguard. Sorry to call
the one sorry, it's just that I just found it on Vortex here. The one I have is I'm not loaded at the moment. Is Magical College of Winterhold.
Okay, don't know that one.
That one was quite. Yeah, it's pretty enough. Some things were missing, like tables and stuff like that. So I stopped using it after about 2 playthroughs because I couldn't get it to work properly.
Well, give Immersive College of Winterhold a try. One of the things that Immersive College of Winterhold has that is absolutely stellar, Ray, you'll probably remember this. In the Arcanium, when you go up there, when you first walk into the Arcanium, straight ahead is a huge wall-sized contour map of Skyrim, a real USGS style contour map. USGS Colin is the United States
Geological Survey.
Geodetic Survey. Yeah, it's the same. I'm sure the UK has the same. But anyway, it's a real contour map of Skyrim. I don't know who created it, but it's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah. And I wish there was a mod that allowed you to have it as your regular map.
Right?
It would be super.
Wow.
Get stuck less often.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Victor is.
Ironic. You're frozen, Victor. If you can
not to me. Ray was frozen there for a second too.
Now he's back.
Yeah.
It was that high texture map. It froze everything up.
Yeah. No, it's funny because when you said I was frozen, I'm looking at you and you were frozen. So something's going on with
the magic of the internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I noticed Michael was frozen for a while earlier on too.
Oh, really? I'm actually hardwired now.
I'm not having any problem, and audio is staying, so it's probably a Hangouts issue.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
could be.
They're slowly trying to frustrate us into stop using it.
Yeah, I actually tried out Google Meetings or Google Meet. I had no issues with it, so I've used it a couple times.
What about Zoom?
I've used Zoom a bunch. Haven't really had any problems with that either.
But Colin doesn't want to use that.
Yeah, well, Google Meet's right in the same thing basically as Hangouts. It's right in Gmail. So
is it? Okay.
Yeah. And it worked really well. It was pretty stable. Had no issues. So
cool. Well, that was good. I've been thinking about those questions for a while. I wanted to hear all you guys had to say about them.
Yeah, leveling's interesting because if you're going to grind, it's one thing, or if you're just like, I prefer generally to just naturally level, but as you're playing, however the character develops, which is always the same exact way over and over again. But
no, really?
but yeah, it's been weird this time because I've got to grind a lot because I want to try and do everything. So I kind of got to go back to the old way of standing in the middle of town, getting beaten to death by 40 guards to get the heavy armor up or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'll probably be doing some of that, which I don't generally do at all because I just go through and play a character because I want to play a specific story or a specific set of quests or something like that. It's been a long time since I really grinded any kind of leveling. Building a house also a good way to grind the level. Because you make all the stuff and all that, so that's a pretty good way also. Yeah,
and I I didn't really diss on him, but I was sort of snarky about Major Slack, but he's got a point. I mean, running back and forth and grabbing, sleeping to get the well-rested bonus and making sure you get all the benefits of the percent here, percent there.
Yep.
And it does make sense. I just hate sort of fast traveling around just to get all that stuff, and then just like I said, it takes me out of the game. But it's great. It's all good stuff to know. I think, like Ray said, it's stuff to use, little bits here and there of all that wisdom.
Yeah, you take bits and pieces of it, and work as it fits in the way that you play.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably more so with this roundtable, where I've been creating a lot of new characters specifically for these these different quest mods, and so trying to get them up really quick to a point where they're functional. I've done a lot more grinding than I ever have. Because I'm not playing any of the other parts of the game.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how much of it I can get away with Rigmore and Bruma, because I'm in Rigmore. I've run into a point where I'm curious to see if the fact that I'm I haven't done Helgen, and I haven't done any of the Civil War, and I've never met some of these characters that I'm going to have to meet with. If that's going to have an impact or not. Because obviously they expect that you're playing the game. But I just happen to not be playing the game.
Well, for Bruma, you can start your game there with Live Another Life. So, right.
Yeah.
So, I think you did that, didn't you, Colin? You played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say the legacy of the Dragonborn is you might want to do the Dragon Quest.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I was thinking of starting with just trying the Relic Hunter start, because it starts you as, I think you're already the guild master with that.
That I was gonna say, I was gonna throw that out there, but my brain's in my ass. Would anybody consider adding that to New Beginnings, the expansion mod for alternate start? That would be quite nice. Starting off in the museum.
Yeah, there's already the Guildmaster start or whatever they call it, but not a lower level start with Live Another Life. There already is one. There's another. I'm just scanning through my mods here.
I started off because I was thinking about him being an Imperial Ranger. I started him off in the Imperial Army, and not really thinking anything of it, since I didn't do anything with it. Right after I started, and I happened to be walking down a road, and there was a bunch of Stormcloak. I've got immersive patrols.
Oh.
So there's this big group of Stormcloaks, and usually you just walk by, hey, how's it going? What's up? But all of a sudden they're screaming and yelling and chasing after me. I'm like, oh, holy shit, what's up? And I'm that's right. I'm an Imperial soldier.
Oh man.
So I had to run for my life.
Oh god. Oh, you know what I remember? Go quickly back to Wheels of Low. Oh god, the dragon, the Dwemer dragon thing. So I like the first time through, or first time I went against it, I was like, this is a little. I'm trying to get it. I was using a Dremora Lord to kind of draw it in different areas, and I was like, wait, why am I doing that? And then I started throwing the Mage Light, and the Mage Light worked great. It goes right to the Mage Light.
Oh, that's
and then
sweet.
Sits right under the thing. I'm like, oh my god, this is sweet. Did you read the book you get?
No.
Oh my god.
I'm kind of like Colin.
It's this.
I got the book. I just didn't read it.
The book is amazing. It's like this bizarre Dwemer Thomas the Tank Engine world, where the train engines are being horribly abused in slavery.
Oh,
and there's the whoever they rename whatever it is, Sir Topham Hatt or whatever it is, as something else. And it's like this like horrific dystopian Thomas the Tank Engine story based in this Dwemer world.
I still have that save. I'll have to go back to it and see.
Oh my god, it's pretty long too, but it's amazing. It's pretty crazy, but it's pretty funny. It's really funny. And if you've ever seen Thomas the Tank Engine, it is a dystopian world that is very disturbing. But yeah, this amps it up about like 1,000 times.
Awesome.
I was reading. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? I was like, oh, this is hilarious. I gotta read this whole thing. And I never really read. You open it up, you're like, oh, I've read it.
Yeah,
I've read that book now that it's opened. I haven't seen any of the words, but
that's why they call it an RPG.
Exactly.
I role played. I read the book.
Oh man, yeah, I had fun with that part. I do have to say the dragon was fun. The Dwemer style dragon, like robotic dragon, was pretty cool. It was interesting how you had to put stuff under the lava flow.
It was. Yeah, very, very inventive mod.
Yeah, for sure. I did get a couple of emails this week. One from Dominic, who just found the show, I believe. Nice. Oddly enough, many years into the game, just found the show. Good for him. Appreciate it. And Robert, who I know has been listening a little while, and actually made a good point. I always forget to tell people the lost episodes are the original episodes of the show that when our feed kind of blew up, got lost. So now they're reposted as lost episodes. So those are from quite a few years ago. I think we're heading into about episode 67, 68, something like that. But I think it's the first 78 or 9 of them. I think 79's on our feed. So like the first 78 kind of got lost on the old feed because it kind of crashed and the hosting company had an issue and all that. So we've been able to recover all of them except for one where I apparently skipped a number and didn't even realize it, so it doesn't actually exist.
Because so 78 original Skyrim Addict podcasts, so roughly equivalent to one episode of the Fallout feed.
Yeah, about one episode. Yeah, the first like 50 are like maybe 3/4 of an episode of Fallout feed. I did find all the original roundtables too. They're actually in the Patreon where everybody can grab them. Who's in there? They're just nice. They're in a Dropbox folder actually. So if anybody wants access to those, just let me know. I have the folder kept up for good, so everybody can just find them. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can like run those through like Levelator and stuff, and kind of clean up the audio on them, because some of those early ones were pretty crazy. There was a lot of people, like we had some where it was like 8-9 people on them or something.
And Andrew always, says that he's not a role player, but you listen to that first round table.
Oh man, yeah,
and he was totally into it. He had a whole story.
Yep. Yeah, so we have all those. I haven't posted those back up on the feed yet, but they are in there's a couple folders in the Patreon set up where people can grab them whenever. Grab all of them at once or one at a time, whatever you want. They're just all there for the taking. So I'm gonna see if I can get them cleaned up to put them back on the feed too once I get through the lost episodes. But yeah, the lost episodes are old episodes, so like you may hear us talking about ESO coming out at some point.
Indeed.
I believe that's on there quite a bit. Like, I wonder what's gonna happen in ESO. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Bunch of bastards.
It was quite a while ago. Most of those, probably 2015-ish, 2016 maybe latest. I think maybe 2016 is where the lost ones end. So that was a while ago at this point, because the game's been around forever.
Yes, indeed.
and no signs of slipping away. I am hoping they do some kind of patch for the Series X when that comes out to make it, I guess make it even cleaner looking or something. And I wonder what kind of mod capability it'll have on the Series X, how much more powerful that'll be too. So that'll be interesting to see.
For the
on the Xbox Series X.
It has more modding, more
space,
more mods.
Yeah, because you have the limitation now, which the Xbox is pretty big. The limit. PlayStation was pretty small limit, I believe.
Yeah.
It was like half as much or something like that. So
Yeah.
I wonder if, whenever that happens, that'll be nice. But I was just running through the Xbox mods to see if anything new was up.
Yeah, still probably no way to really manage the mods better.
It's clunky. Yeah. It's not if you go to your load order and kind of just manage it there, you just have to keep track of what you're doing. For me, generally, I'll only do a vanilla character and one mod character. That way it's, I just turn everything on or turn everything off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just simple to remember. But I mean, if you keep a list, I guess you could do it that way. But then becomes a little more difficult. I like just doing one, like having vanilla modded. So that way I just turn on all the mods, turn off all the mods, something simple like that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It just makes it easier for me to figure out when I'm going back and forth.
So, sorry, while we've been talking, I've been desperately trying to find this fun mod that I discovered. It's been around for a while, but it pertains to Legacy of the Dragonborn. It's called Skyrim's Unique Treasures. Colin, have you? And it's by Ice Cream Assassin had something to do with it. And he's
I think I've seen it on the FOMod for the patch of I keep on having a look at them because I created a couple of other characters and it's had loaded up. So every time you create a new character at the very start, just before you start the game, you have to load the Legacy of the Dragonborn patch, so it includes everything and it knows what you have in there.
Right.
And I do always have a look it's got the stuff like Jace's swords in there, and I think it's got uniques. Even had I Need in there, so I don't know what they're gonna have a war skin hanging up or something. But I've loaded in I Need, which I took out of all my playthroughs recently, but I just put it back in today. I was enjoying that, scoffing down some food. I will say I was it Mad Dog just before I ended up, I went back to the museum and I was putting everything up. He got all the dragon masks apart from one, and all the dragon claws apart from one.
Oh.
And I was just like, I can do this Civil War. No, stop, put it down. So it was a bit. I even had all the main dragon masks, so I could have gone and got. So it was 2 dragon masks that was missing. I could have gotten all the Kongraniki, the golden one, over at Labyrinthian. I could have gotten that one. But there's another one that's added by the mod itself, and there was one I was missing. So I don't know where that one was. It was probably quest related or something.
Yeah, but there's some stuff that's quest locked or you have to do it in the right order. You'll never get it. There's a couple of things like that. There's a couple of unique treasures that come with the mod. One of them's in Bloated Man's Grotto, I think.
Wow.
So you have to go for that before you trigger Ill Met by Moonlight, I think. That's Bloated?
Oh yeah, because it changes. Yeah, because if you go there without Ill Met by Moonlight, there's Spriggans and Bears in there.
Yeah, it's like Shadow Green Cavern or whatever. It's similar. Yeah. There's a like a wiki somewhere that'll tell you what to if you really want to get everything possible. It'll tell you which ones to do first or last or not.
I think I'll just let it irk me.
And
then I'll miss something and it'll annoy me forever. But I still haven't completed the quests. I've gotten to the start of the quest that the previous one that I done got to the middle of. I still haven't gotten all the way through the quest because, again, that was a playthrough that I wouldn't have done everything. So that's why I specifically made this Khajiit. And when I found I started another Khajiit producer, and I saw riddle cards from Winter Sun, like, you know, where it says, like, you know, become exceptional, or like, you know, master the warrior, the thief, and the mage, and master everything. So I thought, well, let's see, I just had to find the right personality. So he was like, he was a prisoner in Cyrodiil, and he was in the same prison that Karja was in, that Karja got rescued from by Akari, and Akari was telling Karja all about sort of like Rasad up in Skyrim and how they're going to make money claw over paw. So he was listening in on that. So when he finally got released, he was going to head up in there. So that's why he's up in Skyrim now. But he's a very serious person, ex-prisoner, but he found religion in prison. And that's what he's going to do. He's following no riddles are, but I haven't found anything on, like, you know, any morals. So hopefully I can go through everything, including vampire side of the Dawn Guard, because I haven't done that in a while, and Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah, that's why I did the vampire side, because I really hadn't done that in quite a long time. Always done the other side.
You're gonna load the Sacrosanct for vampire?
No, I've already started it, so I'm gonna leave it alone now.
Yeah, you know, stuff is usually safe to load, not unload, but load in mid.
Yeah, the one I always have fucking problems with is Predator Vision. Sometimes I'll just start up a game and it just won't work. You know, because he was obviously a Khajiit, so he has night vision, but it's a power. But I don't want to use that. I want to use Predator Vision, and you give him night vision from that, because I've got the hotkey, the old just brain for eyes mission, and just randomly, I'll start a game and it won't work.
Yeah, it's
no matter what I do.
I used to use it all the time, and I've stopped because it doesn't work with ENB. That I know you're not using one, so that's not it. But it does not work with ENB.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to work. So what I had to do is I had to go into another game that I started a different character with, and then didn't continue. And I knew it worked on that, and then go back to change all its mods out, put the new restart up. Reinstall all the other mods, including Legacy, and then started. And I'd done all that. I went through and the start from Live a Lover Knife, and it started up and it worked straight away. Even though I was swapping in and taking out mods, putting them in and out, it worked perfectly fine.
It could be when I started. It might be where you have in your load order. I don't know. I liked it because I didn't use it. What I would do is I would go into the MCM after everything loaded and turn it way down. And then I would sort of role play it as in, you know, the human eye adjusts to darkness. So it's not like you're wearing dark glasses. So I would turn it way down, but sort of try to mimic the way the human eye will adjust to darkness. And I'll just hit the hotkey whenever I went into someplace that was dark, so I could at least see a little bit. I might still have to use a torch later on, but I can do. And it works really well if you want to sort of role play it that way also.
Yeah, I have to use it because of my circumstances, because my screen is right in front of a window. And, the curtains don't block out the sun, so the sun comes right through the back, and I can barely see anything.
Damn sun! Curse that fireball!
It's I'm always looking for an eclipse.
It's kind of big black round piece of paper.
Put it on there. Was it a selfie stick? So
yeah.
But yeah, I was using that in the Khajiit, and I turned it down to about only 30% because it starts off at 50%, and I was like, whoa! But the only problem is all the fucking mist, because the light doesn't work right. It just bounces off the mist. And you can't actually see anything past the mist because it lights that up as well.
Well, I didn't use the Predator Vision section. I used the Night Vision section of it, so that it just basically just brightens things up. It doesn't create that mist look.
No, it does. When it lightens the mist, it makes the mist.
The existing. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought you meant the effect. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it gets rid of the night vision power where it has that around the corners of the screen it goes all fuzzy and all that sort of stuff. That's what I didn't want. So that's why I wanted Predator vision and I couldn't get it fucking working. It was annoying.
Yeah. I don't think it's been ported to SE anyway, or has it? Are you using it on SE?
Special edition, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it has been ported. I haven't used it in a long time, not since I stopped playing Legacy.
So I wanted to use that Predator vision as well when he gets when I do Vampire side. I am searching for something to do because he just done Stride Hearth Barrow, which is great because I don't know if it's always there. Excuse me, but I went into Rifting and went into the shop. He just ignored Brynjolf. I'm not ready to start the Thieves Guild just yet. But he went into Bercy Honeyhand's shop, and there's a little note on the counter, and it's from Wilhelm in was it in
Iverstead?
Iverstead, thank you, Victor. Telling him about Dreadhearth Barrow, and apparently Bercy Honeyhand had sent him a note saying, "Go in there and get all the relics, and I'll sell them in my shop." And Wilhelm was like, "No, there's a fucking ghost in there, right?" So I was reading that. I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna go to Iverstead and go in to Dreadhearth Barrow." I got my fucking ass kicked again and again and again. But it was
what
fun.
level are you playing on?
Just Master. But whatchamacallit, there's I've forgotten what it's called. The Banshees from Revenge of the Enemies. And I kept on trying to shoot with an arrow, and obviously it didn't do any damage because it's not magical damage. So I had to run away, hit it with a bit of flames, and then run away, and then hit it with a bit of flames, and then run away. And then I got to the end, and she caught up with me, and it was like, no!
I'm using Ultimate Combat, and I must have run in and out of door in Mistwatch one too many times. I ran into the next tower level over, and they teleported in there and just smashed me. I walked in the door, boom. I don't know how that happened. And then of course the save records that, or the game records that, and then you're screwed. So you got to go back. You got to at least go back one save.
Yeah, once you get in that door, that's it.
Yeah.
Was it what always gets me? I think it's is it for Dunstad, the one between Whiterun and Dawnstar.
Yeah,
we've got that skeever fucking fighting ring or something like that, and you walk in and there's literally like 3 or 4 like reasonably level bandits, and then there's 2 off in the kitchen, which is just like in the next room over. So you've got like 4 or 5 of them, and they instantly see you when you come through the door if you're not sneaking. And every time I go in there, they just like pound me into paste. I was just like, every time. It's the one that's where it's opposite where it's got the bar where you go in and you see the saber cat with the alto wine in its mouth. The stumbling saber cat. It's Fort Dunstead, right?
Yeah, the Dunstead has the bar in the middle of the courtyard there, right? It's got a pub or something like that. Some outbuilding. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what your guys' combat mods do because one of the things that they've done in Rigmore is there's a couple of places where, in order to create some difficulty, there's just an absolute crap ton of enemies. All concentrated in one small space. So if they if your mods throw extra ones in on top of it, it could be kind of chaotic.
Revenge of the Enemies throws in sort of new enemies. High level enemies will increase the. How does that work? It's Revenge of the Enemies has new stuff, Colin, and then high level enemies has.
I thought it was the opposite way.
Oh, okay.
I think high level enemies adds new higher level enemies, and
Yeah, only when you reach, I think you're above level 20. It doesn't do anything before that anyway, right? And then,
Right.
yeah.
Revenge of the Enemies alters all the existing enemies. Because all my Droga that I keep on running into. Well, actually, no. You are right, because I keep on running into skeletons that are really tough. Skeleton mages, skeleton warriors.
Yep.
That's the last boss in Shred Hearth Barrow was a skeleton death lord.
Oof.
And he had the Fusro dash out that knocks you on your ass. So I was like running around and then hiding in the water. Mike and Cheat was not happy. He was in all that like 2,000-year-old bloody water filled with rat's piss and everything like that. He was not happy swimming around in that, but otherwise, was it they had the two archers that come up on the side? They were not flame archers, but burning archers, and they shoot exploding fireball arrows at you. So you have to run in behind and sort of like, they have to take those two guys out first.
It must be both, because I was just looking at my mod list here. I forgot. I have high level enemies, but not Revenge of the Enemies. And I have the SIC release, Skyrim Immersive Creatures loaded. So there's a version of high level enemies for that. And I'm getting.
Nope, he's frozen again. No. Have I frozen?
No, it's him.
That's one I haven't loaded in a while, is Skyrim Immersive Creatures.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. So I have that and high level enemies, and also and like I said, Ultimate Combat. Those three seem to make a nice combination.
Yeah, the combat mods scare me too much. I like all the new enemies because it forces you to change the way you fight, but the combat mods annoy me because you'll hit somebody in the face, like obviously where they have the shield up and stuff like that, and you'll do like 2 damage.
Yeah.
And then you'll like move to the side, and then you'll like miss the shield, and then you do like 50 points of damage, and then obviously it comes back on you. And if you've got loaded Ordinator loaded up, and he gives like the bandits and the bandit marauders and the bandit chiefs all those perks as well, so they'll have like dented or biting jabs, all these things that makes you bleed and all that sort of stuff. So also that's the best mod in Ordinator, to be able to deal with his own mod in the heavy armor tree, is that I think you get to 60 in heavy armor, and it makes you immune to all those perks. So you don't have to suffer all the extra damage and the denting blows that lowers your armor and all that sort of stuff.
Unless you're using Wildcat with his other combat. That one I find a little over the top with the stagger, and Skyrim stagger system kind of sucks anyway.
Well, that's why you need his racist mod, which makes Nords 25% less stagger, and then you get like the the steed stone that makes you move faster in combat.
Yeah. Well, I would recommend Ultimate Combat. Give it a try sometime. It's been updated relatively recently. Has good. It's not as aggressive as Wildcat. It has a good sort of extra difficult stealth section you can turn on, which makes it a lot harder to sneak around, even if you're high level sneak. It's good, and it goes well with TK Dodge, which in fact it's the same author who made TK Dodge. It's supposed to be. It was built into because I use it separately. Anyway, it recommends that you use TK Dodge with it. That's what it is. Iron Dusk, I think, is the mod author's name. Anyway.
I got TK Dodge downloaded, and I was in the one that I started Wheels of Lol with, but didn't go through with. But I had TK Dodge with that, and that worked really well when I was fighting. But when I went back to the game and completely forgot that I had it installed, I was wondering, why is she running right past? Because obviously I'm in first person. Why is she running right past the enemy? Because I'm like, mashing the old keys. Yeah. And then I went out in the third person. Obviously, she was dodge rolling past. I was like, oh yeah, that.
It also gives a really cool jump boost to Khajiit. I think that's. But The only thing about TK Dodge, I turn off the forward double tap because when you're playing with a mouse and keyboard with a sneaky character, you're basically constantly inching forward with the keys. And I hate that forward double roll because I have way too many times rolled forward into an enemy when I didn't need to, and get killed. So
it's the cheat.
So I turned that off. If there was a way to space it out better, but he doesn't offer that in the MCM. You can't change the timing between taps. So that would actually be a really cool addition to the mod.
It was okay for me because that's what you do in ESO. So I had a lot of you double tap to the left, to the right, and all that, or forward, back, whatever you want to do to dodge roll in that game. So
yeah, well, the left, right, and reverse is great. But he offers an actual MCM option to turn off just the forward double tap, which I always do. But yes, double tap back is great. For getting out of the way, especially of like dual wielding, Nords and skeletons and things, or not dual wielding, two hand. Swing my big axe.
I'm the opposite. I like the forward because you get obviously you don't go right into them, you go past them. It makes you immune to damage for like was it 1 second? I think it is.
Yeah, not long enough for me.
you get in behind them and then sort of like a slash. And there's a few perks I think that especially in the sneak and backstab, if you get hit somebody behind, you do like double critical damage, all that sort of lovely stuff.
Yeah,
I was scrolling through mods. See if there's anything good. So here's a question: is Meister B the same as Mr. B?
I don't know, but actually, I wanted to just give a shout out to Mr. B because now that you mentioned that, I finally figured out how to use lootable things.
There you go.
The new version of it, anyway. It requires you run a SSE edit script, and once you've done that, it actually works beautifully. But I don't know if Meister B is the same as Meister
I don't know. I was like, wow, because I was scrolling through them and there's a Meister B who is uploading a bunch with authorization, uploading a bunch of Nexus stuff for Xbox One.
Oh,
so I didn't know if it's the same person or not.
Might be. I know he hasn't been very active on his YouTube channel at all in the last few months. So I haven't seen him around much.
Yeah, could be a different person.
But definitely recommend lootable things. It's a really cool mod. It adds just random shit to every barrel and box in Skyrim, basically. But not overpowered stuff. Sometimes you open it up and it says trash.
Right. Oh, nice.
It's very cool. I like that. So
cool.
Yeah, I was hoping for linen.
That's right. Yeah. All I got were these damn nails.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting to find stuff like that in the chest.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. You would think they would be in there. So, I guess we're gonna do Bruma in a few weeks at some point.
At some point,
or part of it, whatever we get done in that meantime. Now that I've given up, Ray and I have both given up on Wheels of Law for the rest of our lives. Find something less aggravating to go into.
I accidentally started Rigmore of Bruma.
Oh no! With that on there?
No.
That's right. You were saying, yeah,
my new character. It was one of those things where you just start talking to somebody, and you're not expecting. I thought it started somewhere else. And all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh shit! I'm in the middle of this new mod." And so, like, well, I should play it.
That's it.
And it's been real fun so far. So,
oh, cool! I think we're gonna jump into that first because that's not in Bruma. That's in Skyrim,
right?
Yeah,
Skyrim. Yeah. I've only played the first few little bits of it, and it's well done. Do you have the most recent version of it? Because there's a Redux version that came out a little while ago. He sort of revamped the whole thing, changed. Where did yours start? How did it start?
It started out. I went to Embershard Mine to beat up on the the guard outside, and he wasn't there. And so I started wandering around a little bit and ran into this girl who needed some help.
Right, you had to pick her up and carry her. Yeah, that's the new version. Yeah, because the original version, you found her up at Angie's camp.
Well, and that's where I was expecting to find her.
Yeah, no, you've got the new version. That's good because he did a lot of the mod author, whoever he, she, or whatever, did a fair amount of changed the beginning of the mod and fixed up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. I just downloaded it a week or so ago. So
yeah. I only know that because Zero Period did a replay through of it. Any of you guys watch him? He's really good. Zero Period Productions. He's done many mods, playthroughs of all these mods, and nicely done too. He's a good guy, young guy, cancer survivor. Pretty cool.
I found a lot of bad playthroughs of Wheels of Law.
Is there such a thing as a good one? From what I hear from you guys.
Well, no, it's a good mod. It's just like, you're trying to just find how to do something real quick, and you click on to a playthrough, and it's like, all right, I just wasted 5 minutes. Yeah, all right, let me go back and find something else.
Well, check his out. The only unfortunate thing about his YouTube channel is that he does these on something he does a lot of other playthroughs, but Skyrim Saturday is where he does all of his like quest mod playthroughs.
Oh, okay.
And he hasn't granularized that at all. And there's like 380 videos in that playlist. So you have to kind of scroll through the whole thing to find the one you want.
At Zero Period?
Zero Period Productions.
Okay.
Yeah. George somebody, I forget his last name.
Cool. Definitely check that out. All right. Anybody else have anything or?
No.
So we got Bruma coming up. We're starting to plan the charity event this year in November, and but before then we'll be doing Bruma and stuff and whatever other ones we're playing through in the meantime, whatever we come across.
Yeah, let's do another one of these. This is fun. Just moderate, not too long, kind of hour and a half or so. Just chat about stuff. Yep. Think up more questions.
I might play some Rigmore. I might hop into that since that's a little less intensive than diving fully into Bruma.
I might start out because
if anybody's really looking for bad playthrough videos, you can hop into our Facebook and watch my my interesting video on No Man's Sky starting. It's definitely not my finest hour, but it's an hour nonetheless.
Sounds good. I'll be sure to catch that, Ray.
Oh man, that's funny.
But, it was a lot of fun, and hopefully a few people have seen it so far and gotten some good stuff out of it. So if you're looking to start up No Man's Sky, or if you've played and have been frustrated because you can't really figure out how to get going on it or what to do, I can vouch for the information in the video. The information is solid. The delivery, just don't laugh too hard.
Well, I remember when No Man's Sky first came out, they literally dropped you into a world with no knowledge whatsoever, and you were just like, "What?" Okay, great. What's next? Yeah, it was like, all right. Do I go anywhere? Can I get really lost? What happens? Oh, there's a storm. I'm dead. Wait, what?
So it certainly has come a long way, because I got it when it was originally announced for PC, and me too. It was the same thing. It's like, okay, I spent a half hour playing, and that was nice, but I don't know what to do now, so I'll just go back to Fallout. And so, but it's definitely a very full, rich game now, and I started playing again in the middle of June, and have got more than 500 hours into the game now.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay, let's see. When was the last podcast we did, guys? How long ago was this?
God, it wasn't that
2
long
weeks-
ago. It was like
2
2
weeks
weeks
ago.
ago.
Yeah. Because I remember
I think it was
Ray saying
400,
he had
wasn't it?
400 hours then.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it's it's been a bit of an obsession.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, that was 400
When I'm
hours.
looking, wait a minute, how did that counter go up 14 hours? Oh yeah, I played all day yesterday.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that's good.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll have some more random mod stuff and whatever else we're playing on it. I'll probably be going through actually Forgotten Vale because that'll take me a little while. That's a nice long thing. So I'm gonna be going through there and doing everything in there. So
And Rigmore's a good idea. I think that is an excellent idea. I'll throw that in sooner.
Yeah, because it's not like Bruma. It's so massive.
And it's Broom is more of an experience than it is like a quest.
Yeah, it's just an area.
It's definitely, yeah, it's like an area to explore, and it's definitely not the RPG side. It's not the accomplish something side.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll get it, and we can just mix that in with whatever else too. I mean, doesn't even have to be specific. So there's no rules. It's not like Andrew.
No
There's
rules.
no rules.
Okay.
No rules. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you check out Dames Who Game and the Fallout feed, of course. Both floating around here. Fallout feed, if you have 8 or 10 free hours a week to listen to the show.
Yeah, we had a butte on Saturday.
Oh, real? I didn't see the time on that one yet.
Yeah, just a touch over 4.
Woo, man. Nice. That's awesome. All right. Well,
I didn't see what it edited down to.
man, that's a lot of time editing, isn't it?
No, because it's all we do is take out the little
gaps.
The silence.
There is a tool on a plugin on Audacity that will automatically remove those things.
Yeah. That's what Andrew uses.
Just runs it through. Yeah,
pulls out. You tell it how long, so if you're willing to accept 3 seconds of silence, you can set it anything over 3 seconds, it'll cut it back.
Yeah, that's a good little feature. Makes it pretty quick to do things. I haven't used it. I generally don't. Yeah, I haven't used it, but I know it's been helpful to other people, especially if it's a 4-hour show. It's going to be real helpful.
Yeah, oftentimes it'll take it down to 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh man.
But we have fun. I mean, we just have fun.
That's it. If you didn't, you wouldn't be doing 4 hours. That's for sure.
No, exactly. Like, okay, let's wrap this up. We're bored.
That's for sure. Oh man. All right.
So yeah, we had a couple of great guests on,
cool.
And so
it went nice.
Definitely a good time.
Yeah, rolled nice and easy for 4 hours, basically.
Yep.
Well, it's been another show. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you to the patrons, of course, for helping us out there. And we'll be back next time with some random modding stuff.
Nice.
Later, guys.
Good night.
Good night.